Hello and welcome back to another RiftGuides WildRift video. For today we're going to take an exclusive look into the 5.0 patch notes, and oh boy, it's going to be massive. We got new champions, the Aurelion Soul rework, new items, and everything is going to change. So if you want to know everything about this patch, just make sure to stay and listen to the video. Let's start with the new champion, Syndra. Syndra, the Dark Sovereign. Syndra is a fearsome Ionian mage with incredible power at her command. As a child, she disturbed the village elders with her reckless and wild magic. She was sent away to be taught greater control, but eventually discovered her supposed mentor was restraining her abilities. Now forming her feelings of betrayal and hurt into dark spheres of energy, Syndra has sworn to destroy all of those who try to control her. Syndra is going to release with the new patch instantaneously. For another feature, we are going to get companions. Companions beta test is officially live. Your most loyal buddies are now ready to witness all of your moments of glory by your side. A total of 29 companions make their debut in patch 5.0. Meet Drakon, Fluffy, magical creatures that come in a range of styles. Basically everything you can imagine. Your companion will follow you around in-game and cheer for you. Your companion will not reveal your position where you're not visible to the enemy, and your companion will not be visible to them either. Your companion will be temporarily going into hiding at the same time so you can focus on battle. Companions do also not appear in Legendary Queue and Arena. So the interesting part here for me is that they apparently view normal ranked as the casual experience, whereas Legendary Queue and Arena is more for tryharding. Interesting approach, but well, that is kind of a mass statement. I really hope you can disable these companions if you don't want to be overwhelmed with another thing on your screen, which doesn't really impact the game anyway. And moving over to Ranked Season 12. We'll be kicking off Ranked Season 12 real soon. Give a warm welcome to Glorious Crown Xin Zhao, our newest season exclusive skin. We'll also be saying goodbye and rotating out the glorious skins and poses from Season Year 1 in the Ranked store. Glorious Armada Twisted Fate from Season 9 will also making a return, so don't forget to look out for the announcement in the Ranked Games portal when Season 12 starts. And Season 12 starts on the 19th of January. As you can already imagine, we also get a new Wild Pass. The new Wild Pass, Food Spirits Veiga, will be available after the patch update. Level up your Wild Pass to level 75 to unlock Ascended Food Spirits Veiga and many more rewards. Once more, a new battle inside Food Spirits Veiga will also be added to the Wild Pass Emporium, along with the limited time return of the Ascendant Supervillain Graves, Ascendant Superhero Vi, and Supervillain Graves, Superhero Vi, Explorer Jax, and Explorer Teemo. For the collectors among you, a new Black Frost Renekton mini pass will go live after Food Spirits Veiga Wild Pass ends. Honestly, I had to say this sentence 3 times because what the hell is that sentence? It's unnecessarily difficult to actually speak. For the events, we are going to get the Wild Puzzle. Play games, earn puzzle pizza, and win prizes. The Wild Puzzle event begins on the 18th of January. Now let's talk about Aurelion Soul and all the changes. His passive, Cosmic Creator. New Aurelion Soul's damaging abilities turn enemies into stardust, which in turn empowers his abilities. Breath of Light. This ability's bursts deal additional magic damage equal to 3% of your stardust stacks to the enemy's maximum HP. Your second ability's Astral Flight increases the maximum flight distance by 62.5% of your Stardust stacks. Your third ability, Singularity, increases the ability's execution threshold by 2.6% of your Stardust stacks and your impact area. As for your ultimate, the Falling Star Disguised Descent increases the ability's impact area. And now let's talk about the abilities. Aurelion Soul's first ability is basically him breathing fire. Not only this, it apparently also reveals enemies, which means if you're an Akali that goes into stealth, you might get revealed by this ability. Not only this, it also deals AoE damage to nearby enemies, which makes it so much more powerful, especially if you combine it with your third ability that clumps up people. If you continuously hit the same target with your breath, every single second you'll deal extra damage in the form of burst to the enemy target. Aurelion Soul is also able to move while casting this ability, and once it's fully leveled up, it basically has no duration anymore, it's infinitely. For a second ability, we basically have a reworked ability of his previous third ability. With this ability, he flies into a direction and he can use his first ability to breathe fire into enemies' faces. If you recast this, it will be ended early, and if a champion is killed within 3 seconds of taking damage from Aurelion Soul, 90% of this ability's cooldown is refunded. For Aurelion's third ability, we have an AoE crowd control ability with an Execute spell. Casting this summons a black hole that pulls together enemy minions, units, and champions, and obviously also monsters, so maybe we'll see Aurelion Soul jungle, who knows. As the units are getting dragged to the center of the ability, they'll take damage every 0.2 seconds, and once they go towards a threshold, they'll get executed. like Elder does. To make this ability even juicier, every single time or every single second an enemy champion is trapped within the black hole sphere, then Aurelion Sol will gain a stack of Stardust. And if anything is killed inside, he'll get a different amount of stacks for his passive. For his ultimate, Aurelion Sol has two different versions, the Falling Star and the Sky's Descent. In his usual normal ability without any empowerment from the Stardust, he does a decent amount of damage and stuns enemies when they're being hit. If the enemies are hit, he also gains 8 stacks of Stardust per champion hit. With the Sky's Descent, which is the evolved version, which he gets after collecting 65 stacks of Stardust, he transforms this ability into the Sky's Descent, dealing much more damage, knocking people up into the air and emitting a huge shockwave dealing damage to everything inside. And to make it even juicier, they're also being slowed and revealed, so any stealth champion, you're in for a lot of trouble when it comes to this champion. Here comes a good information for Gragas players. You can finally use your first ability while casting your third ability, so you're no longer locked out of doing so, which made Gragas very clunky for the majority of the player base. Another patch, another change to Lee Sin. Lee Sin's ultimate ability loses a bit of flat damage, but it gains a new scaling. Now it scales with the target maximum HP. And previously to this, only the target that Lee Sin kicked the target into would take damage depending on the kicked target's bonus HP. So now, this change will allow him to deal more damage to high HP targets, but probably a little bit lower damage to lower HP targets. But in all honesty, if a Lee Sin kicks you into the face, you usually die instantly after if you're squishy. So is this really a nerf and not just straight up a buff against tankier champions? I'm curious to see what will happen next. Our prayers have been heard and we are seeing a nerf to Zyra. Those godforsaken plants are finally getting nerfed. Passive, Garden of Thorns. The active duration of a Thorn Spitter is reduced from 8 seconds to 6 seconds. Also, the health of a Thorn Spitter is cut down by more than half in the sense of her flat numbers. Nonetheless, these Thorn Spitter's HP bar now scales with her ability power, but you see, they're finally not as daunting anymore as they've been before, literally being a tank for every single skill shot in the entirety of the game. These things were tankier than most AD carries, like, it was so annoying to play Ezreal into this champion. For a third ability, the root duration is also being decreased, and for ultimate, the area of effect is also being decreased. A beautiful nerf to Zyra, very much needed and very good. We are also seeing an increase to various attack ranges of specific abilities on champions. Blitzcrank's third ability, Camille's first ability, Jack's second ability, Nasu's first ability, Nautilus's second ability, Shyvana's first ability, Vi's third ability, Volibear's first ability, Wukong's first ability, and Jin Zhao's first ability as well. As to why these changes are happening, I have absolutely no idea, but well, I'm very curious what this will do in an actual game, because many people have grown very much accustomed to champions' ranges, so this will definitely shake up how people perceive these champions. With this patch, we also get an update to Arena, and we finally get a full detailed list of the augments. First, they're talking about champion cameos. Anyone can tell me how this one is supposed to be pronounced as a German? Thank you. First, we start with Aurelion Sol. Aurelion Sol sporadically generates a cosmic field that grants movement speed to players within and helps them ignore obstacles. Kai'Sa. When a player takes down Kai'Sa, they gain the following buff for 15 seconds. Every time they deal damage, they automatically cast Icathian Rain at all players. Huh? What? Oh wait, are these supposed to be these big units that are walking around in the arena? Like, that sounds very crazy. Pantheon. Pantheon thrusts his spear at a target location, dealing damage to the target based on their max health. Upon landing, the spear sweeps across its surroundings and deals damage to enemies within range based on their maximum health. Nasus. Nasus makes random appearances on the battlefield, and taking him down grants Ascension. Ascension. 200% size and increased armor and magic resist, and the cooldown of your first ability is reduced to 1 second. If the ability stores charges, charges will be also refunded. This buff lasts for 10 seconds. Morgana. Players near Morgana gain crowd control immunity. Now let's talk about the new augments. Arcane Overflow. Build up Comet Force after casting an ability. Dealing ability damage to a champion launches several comets toward their position, dealing magic damage that scales with bonus attack damage and ability power. Comet Force builds up infinitely. Artillery Coverage. Fires Ashe, Ezreal, Jinx's, Lux's, and Senna's ultimate abilities at a target rotation at the same time. Do you remember that Teemo meme where every single of these abilities is thrown at the Teemo in the mid lane to just demonstrate all the hate for Teemo? It's just this perfect meme. Backup Battery. Upon death, reanimate temporarily with increased stats while bleeding for 7 seconds, after which you die again, basically Scion passive. Battle Mage. Gain bonus health, armor, and magic resist based on ability power. Black Hole. Summon a black hole centered around you, pulling enemies nearby toward you while stealing their armor and magic resist. Butter Roll. Your first ability gains 100 ability haste. Cheese Roll. Your third ability gains 100 ability haste. Dual Wield. Gain increased attack speed and max attack speed, but attack damage and ability power are reduced. Mirror Image. At regular intervals, become invisible for a few seconds and project a mirror clone that moves towards the enemy. The mirror clone explodes near enemies or when destroyed, blinding nearby enemies. Fortune Coin. Toss a fortune coin. If it lands face up, heal up for 10% of your maximum HP. If it lands face down, a bolt of lightning strikes at your current position, dealing true damage equal to 10% of your health. There's a small chance to trigger an Easter egg for additional bonuses. Become unstoppable while moving freely and gain sustained movement speed. You can only stop moving upon recast or collision with enemies or terrain, after which you deal magic damage to nearby enemy champions. Head Blown. Attacks have a 60% chance to stun for 0.2 seconds. Gem Roll. Your second ability gains 100 ability haste. Mana Aegis. When you have more than 40% mana, 40% of your damage taken is converted into mana loss instead. When you're healed, 40% of your healing received is gained as mana as well. Mana loss does not trigger events based on mana consumption, but mana regeneration triggered by heals will increase based on healing bonuses. Planetary Ring. Gain free aerial bullets that orbit you, dealing magic damage to enemies they hit. The bullets orbit at max attack range and do not apply any on-hit effects. Orbital speed scales with attack speed. Nice Aurelian Soul, by the way. Reprisal Armor. Store a percentage of damage taken over a period of time as Fury. At regular intervals, consume all Fury to deal magic damage to nearby enemies. Schrödinger's Health Bar, or however you say it in English. Your health bar is permanently camouflaged and hidden from enemy view. Subjugate. Drain life equal to 30% of their max life from a target dealt as magical damage and steal 40% of their armor and magic resist. Half of the damage and stealing happens immediately and the other half happens over 5 seconds. The stolen armor and magic resist are returned to the target 4 seconds after the drain ends. Tropical Punch. Gain increased effects from power flowers and share them with your allies. Really? Isn't this like an energy drink name? Unbroken. All excess incoming damage above 50% of your max health is reduced by 50%. All damage exceeding this threshold will be reduced by 50%, including true damage. Unknown Damage. Deal damage ranging between 50% and 175%. Whale. Increases your item limit and grants you a random item before the start of every battle. You can have a max of 12 items at any one time. You also deal 1 bonus damage for every 500 gold you have more than your target. Augment Changes. Augments Quantity. Quantity is increased to 6. Compared to during the early access seasons, most teams can now obtain all the augments before they're eliminated. Recommended Augments. Augments suitable for your champion are marked with indicators. If no augment is selected when the time is up, the recommended augment will be selected by default. Augment Refresh. While augments can be refreshed 3 times, if the player loses a round in between 2 augment selection rounds, they'll gain 2 more refresh chances. Camera. Finally, you can pan the camera or zoom in and out while spectating. Well, at least something. Added a camera displaying the champion that places first. Like, I would really love to have actual camera panning in the arena. Power Flower. A new notification will pop up when power flowers are available and more power flowers will be added. System Features. Champion Balance. In this update, they've updated 76 champions and changed so many things, so here's the breakdown of everything that is going to happen, which includes changes to melee champions, range champions, crit changes, gold, like literally everything. They're also adding a new teamfight phase, which is a casual teamfight round. Teams that haven't been eliminated will enter the same battlefield for an all-out brawl. The round will always be played on the same map, which is Ancestral Woods. There is no win or loss mechanic in the teamfight round, and the round will not break win streaks. The winner of this round gains 25 team health, or if it's the same amount of winners with the same amount of heads, you'll all gain 25 health, which can also exceed 100 health. There are also a few Easter eggs, so if you want to get them, take a good look at these on your screen right now, because this is what you need to do to make this one happen. With all this out of the way, let's talk about the gameplay changes, and here we have the item changes. New items: Spear of Shojin, 3200 gold, 300 HP, 45 attack damage, 20 haste, and builds out of a BF sword, Kindle gem, and 700 gold. Pretty decent stats when it comes to like raw damage. The Dragon Awakening passive is also something entirely new in WildRift. It increases the ability haste of basic abilities by 20% for 6 seconds after casting your ultimate ability. Not only this, it also grants you 30% bonus movement speed that decays over 3 seconds, and scoring a takedown within 6 seconds refreshes the ability's duration. And this entire thing has a 20-second cooldown. So this item will be very crazy for Jax, Hecarim, Fiora, Like all of these champions that really benefit from having more haste, more raw stats, and just very powerful bruiser items. The next item we need to talk about is Titanic Hydra. 3000 gold, 550 HP, Balmy Cinder, Giant Spelt, and 700 HP, so it's purely HP. You also gain the Colossus passive, which gains you attack damage equal to 5 plus 2.5% of your bonus health. You also gain a new passive which is called Cleave. Every 2.5 seconds, your next attack deals bonus damage equal to 25 plus 3% of your bonus health, which also applies to turrets, and creates a shockwave that deals physical damage equal to 80 plus 10% of your bonus health to enemies behind the target. Even ranged champions can build this item to deal only 75% of the item, but still you have the access to all of the HP stats. I don't think that this item will be a rushed item. You'll probably go for this item for your second item or maybe your third item, depending on how the game state is going, because if you're a bruiser, you'll still go for Divine, because Divine basically counters all of these kind of things, because it grants you more health, and Divine will, well, heal you for more and deal more damage if the enemy has more health, so you basically get the idea. Titanic Hydra can also be built on ranged champions, which allows you to get tankier, as well as dealing like extra damage to enemy champions if they're like clumping up. Especially Senna can probably utilize this item very well, given that she's an infinitely scaling champion that basically just needs to survive to deal more damage. The last new item is going to be Heartsteel. 3000 gold, 700 health, 150 base health regen, 20 haste. Kindle Gem, Giant Spelt, and Ruby Crystal. Again, massive health numbers. And we have a new passive called Colossal Consumption. While within 700 units of an enemy champion, charges for 3 seconds before dealing a huge strike against this enemy champion. This charge attack deals bonus physical damage equal to 120 plus 5% maximum health, and it grants you maximum health equal to 12% of the damage dealt. The charge for each target has a 20-second cooldown. So yeah, you know, I'm a Senna salesman. You probably will build this item on Senna, and you can even build it on other champions, just completely destroying the identity of these champions getting tankier. Even AD carries can go for this item while they're utilizing high ranged. It's just such an interesting concept that makes you tankier as you go on fighting, and makes it very difficult for the enemy to kill you. Many people will say, but yeah, this is a bruiser item, most of the time just top laners or solo laners will build this item, but I believe that supports will very much abuse this due to the amount of fighting down there in the Dragon lane. So yeah, look out for all the support champions and all the AD carries that can potentially completely mess up the balancing, which is getting too tanky. Mantle of the 12 Hours also getting a massive change. This item isn't countered by anti-healing anymore because they changed the item from healing to you gaining bonus health. Brandon's Omen is also getting a massive change when it comes to how it functions. Previously, if you get hit by a critical strike, abilities that function as crits or anything along these lines, you gain stacks, which you can use to then heal up if you hit an enemy champion. If you fail to do so, you will then lose these stacks and nothing happens. With the new passive, you will get a basic refund on these stacks by just doing nothing. You basically get hit, and after a 5-second period, you will get extra healing from the stacks that weren't consumed. With AD carries being as strong as they are, it's time for Riot to push the Zeke's Convergence agenda. This item was very powerful on AD carries simply because they got so much AD, and this item granted them so much more magic damage for free. So with this, they're pushing Zeke's because they're removing the magic resist, but grant the item 350 more health, which is more than before because previously it was 0. And the item itself is still very powerful. You can even rush this item now as a support champion. You have so many more options compared to before when it comes to the support meta, and this item makes it very, very cool for you to snowball as a duo bot lane. Runon's Hurricane is also getting a change. It's getting more expensive. It loses attack speed, but it gains more adaptive force. But the real question is, do they change the range on this item? In case you didn't know, the item grants you more range than you usually have, allowing you to attack targets which should never be able to attack because they're very far out of your auto attack range. All these support items are getting a change across the board, which means that they're now upgrading to the new item after 750 gold instead of 500 gold. This delays the stacking mechanic for the bonus stats, but allows you as a support to gain more gold. Usually, if you have the fastest completion possible, you're usually done with this at 4 minutes and like 15 seconds, roughly. And with this, it's a little bit delayed, closer to 5.5-ish. I don't really know what this is supposed to do because it's not really a heavy nerf for support, nor is it a heavy buff. So I really don't know what they're doing because support in theory is overtuned, but due to the matchmaking and overall player skill, it is often very weak. So Yeah, I really don't know, so please help me out. If anyone has any idea, please let me know in the comments below. We also got map changes. The Baron Lane Alcove. An alcove is added to the Baron Lane to provide more opportunities for outplays and gank strategies. We relocate also the honey fruits in the Baron Lane. We've relocated the honey fruit behind the turret with the aim of preventing champions with long attack ranges from easily destroying their opponent's fruits. So, ranged top laners, this is for you. Game mechanics changes. We have a new minion, the cannon minion. During the laning phase, there is a significant discrepancy between the strength of the siege minion wave and other minion waves. This poses challenges for players in making decisions about when to recall, roam, or provide support for their teammates. By replacing them with cannon minions, players should be hopefully able to concentrate on laning during the early game while having better control of the minion wave. This adjustment will also enhance lane experience points and gold, increasing the Baron laner's impact. Siege minions that appear between 50 seconds and 12 minutes and 5 seconds from the start of the game are replaced with cannon minions. The cannon minion has a ranged attack and is weaker than the siege minion, but is stronger than the melee minion. Overall, the strength of the minion waves remains consistent as before. And again, we are making the game more simple, even though it's already very simplified, and it makes the game very, very annoying to play. Because rather than having people try to learn the game, they're constantly getting everything simplified because, well, why have people learn something when we can just give them everything for free, including ranks? But don't worry, this is not the worst part about this, because later in this patch, there's going to be something that you have no idea, you would never believe that they would be doing, and they're actually doing it. First, minion wave experience points. They are modifying the experience for every single lane. In the first 7 minutes of the game, shared experience points from minion waves are reduced while solo laners gain higher experience points. After 7 minutes, this will expire. Adjusted experience catch-up mechanic. The experience catch-up mechanic will trigger immediately when a champion falls below average level by 1. Previously it was 0.75. The experience points required to reach level 10 and above have been increased. Champions need more experience to level up after reaching level 9. Solo gold assist changes. When only one champion assists in a takedown, the gold awarded for the assist will change from 50% to 35% of the bounty. There is no change when more than one champion assists with the takedown. We're also getting more information about our runes in the game after the game. We get a better look at them and what they provide for us, so that's a very cool thing that happens. Strategic objective changes. Taking into account player feedback and our analysis of game data, we've tweaked strategic objectives and fine-tuned how they trigger based on certain conditions. Strategic objectives can be triggered earlier now. The gold earned through some champion abilities and rune effects no longer affect strategic bounties, including champion abilities like Twisted Face passive, third ability, Draven's passive, Pyke's ultimate, and rune effects like First Strike and Sweet Tooth. So yay, you no longer get punished for playing such champions. Amazing, just took them 50 billion years. Unless I completely misunderstand this and it's actually more painful for these champions now. And the next one, you're going to love the next one. We are seeing buffs to every single Dragon Soul in the game because they're shit, they're terrible. And well, apparently even in Riot's data it shows. Infernal Dragon Soul deals more damage. Mountain Dragon Soul has a bigger shield. Ocean Dragon Soul heals for more. Ice Dragon Soul has a lower cooldown and does more damage. And these souls are still not very powerful. The only decent and good soul we have available is the Infernal Dragon Soul. All the other souls are pathetically weak and they really need to be changed to what they are on PC. Like if you, for example, compare the PC soul of a mountain to this soul, it is a simple joke. Because the mountain soul, for example, scales and this one doesn't scale at all. So the benefits of these souls are so low for this entire investment you have to put into them to basically get them. You need all 3 dragons and it's so easy to lose a single one, and all the isolated, the dragons, like the dragons by themselves, are completely worthless. It is actually crazy, and I really hope we get some changes to the individual dragons so they're actually worth your time. Changes to stacking damage reduction, so no more plated steel caps, armor bonus, and for example, Garen's stacking ability. Amazing. The ghost power is vanishing and we get a jungle spirit. Oh no, it fears you. Riot, why? Why are we doing this? Why is this even in the game? And why doesn't it give like 200 gold if you kill it? Why are you being punished for being better? In matchmaking? In the entire of the game system? Why? What is the point of literally making you suffer because you're doing well? Please stop this. Remember when I talked about making the game easier? Rift Herald is also getting more powerful because he is going to be easier to use. He will ignore minions and just charge straight to the tower, not caring about anything. That is just cool, right? Because why get punished because you place it badly? Rune stack optimization. Conqueror and Kraken Slayer fall off at the rate of 1 per 0.5 seconds. This is a massive buff for Conqueror because Conqueror has so many stacks and this will allow you to stack this up easier and consistently keep your stacks without losing them. For Kraken it doesn't really matter that much because, well, if you get your third stack you get the damage, and just sitting on 2 stacks doesn't really make that much of a difference, but still it's like a nice buff, right? Yay, you're also not getting punished anymore for using or buying the wrong item in the first 30 seconds of the game. You can just sell the item for the original price even if you leave base. Ooh, you can finally buy boot enchantments in the practice mode immediately upon starting it. Here we have some changes to the VFX of spells, of runes, in-game announcements, how things look, etc, etc. So just take a look if you want to know what's going on. I will not comment about this anymore and I will just go straight over to the next terrible thing Riot is doing. Flash combo. If auto aim is active while casting certain combo abilities, the champion will locate the most optimal enemy champion within range and dash towards them. Jarvan's Demacian standard Dragon Strike combo, Camille's second dash during hookshot, Graga's body slam, Galio's Justice Punch, Vi's Vault Breaker, and Yasuo's infamous Sweeping Blade Steel Tempest combo. So why are you even playing the game anymore when the game is literally being played for you? Any fancy thing you can do being mechanically better is being basically done by the game. Any type of thinking you put into the game by doing anything is done by the game for you. If you get ahead, you can basically just AFK, chill back, wait for bounties to come online, farm these bounties. You have the security of the Poro or the Fearing thing in your jungle now. So what's happening next? Is this the foreshadowing of the console release, making everything easier so the controller players can use this in the game? Or is this just trying to inflate as many people as possible, making the game as easy as possible to get the last bit out of this game? I really don't know. I'm really curious why we are doing this. Why are we trying to basically lower the skill ceiling of things by making things so much easier? I think I can speak for all of us that if you want to learn something, and you learn it, you just feel very, very good about yourself. Like, oh my god, I just learned how to do this consistently. And now, yeah, basically all the effort you put into this is basically worthless. You can just do it with one click because the game does it for you. How unsatisfying does that one feel? Like any of these listed champions, like, let me know in the comments below, what do you think about this? Do you think it's a terrible change? Do you think it's like a good inclusive change? Do you think it's the foreshadowing of the console release? Like, let me know, because I think it's awful. And yeah, we have some guild features, and yeah, now let's talk about the skins. We have the Food Spirits Veigar, Spirit Blossom Syndra, Glorious Crown Zinzao, Luna Empress Morgana, Luna Fairy Kai'Sa, Luna Fairy Special Edition Kai'Sa, Luna Guardian Narcissus, Luna Guardian Pantheon, and Luna Guardian Aurelion Sol. So get your wallets ready, you're getting there, you need to pay for them, they look amazing. Well, which is something that they do very well. Their skins are goddamn crazy well. Anyways, that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I'm now doing double time. My throat is dying. I can't speak anymore. So the 30 minutes of a patch rundown. What is this patch? And yeah, we'll see each other for a next stream very soon. So stay tuned and stay frosty. See ya. Yeah, and comment to boost the algorithm.